Hello and welcome to Dotnet with Sikhen.
And today we will continue our exception handling, that is the custom exception handling. We have already discussed about the exception and exception handling and how to handle the exceptions in our previous session. So if you have not watched it, please look at that so that you will understand this custom exception handling in a good way. And if you are new to this series, then please subscribe it and also like and share with your friends. Okay, so let's get started. Custom exception handling. So when we create our own exception classes to handle the runtime errors, then we create our own exceptions, or you can say like custom exceptions. So here let's look at one scenario, that is the employee scenarios. Like when the age of the employee is less than 18, then we can throw one invalid employee age exception. In the same way, we can throw like duplicate employee exception in case of the duplicate employee ID. If the salary is less than 5,000, then also we can throw something like invalid salary exceptions. So let's look at all these things in action in the Visual Studio. Yes, so here you can see I have created one employee exception, and this is inheriting from exception base class, right? So whenever you want to create your own custom exceptions, then you must inherit it from exception class. This one is the base one, and here you can see we have one employee ID, and then this is the constructor where we pass the employee ID and then message, and this message again goes in the base class of this exception class, right? So this one is the base. So here you need to pass like constructor name and then the parameters and then colon base, and then you need to pass that message. And here also you can initialize this employee ID property. So in this employee exception class, this employee ID is the read-only property. Now I have created different more exception classes like invalid employee age exception, and it is inheriting from employee exceptions. And the similar structure we have, like we have the constructor of the exception class, and then we need to pass the employee ID, and then here now we need to pass age, and then it goes to the base one, right? So in base we need to pass the employee ID and then the message what we want to print, and also we need to initialize this invalid age. In the same way, we have the invalid salary exception where we inherit it from employee exception, and then in the similar structure we need to pass that employee ID and then the salary and the message you want to create. Here in case of invalid salary, we print like salary must be minimum 5,000, and then this is the initialization of the invalid salary. Now just look at this employee class where we have few properties like ID, name, age, salary. Now let's look at the another class, that is the employee service, where this service will basically add the employee and also it will fetch all the details, right? All the employee detail. So in this class, if you look at this add employee method, then here you can see we are passing few parameters here like name, age and salary, and then inside this method we are checking it also, right? Like if age is less than 18, then we throw new invalid employee age exception. So this is intentional, right? You know, like the age of the employee should not be less than 18, at least 18 years age should be there, and if it is less than 18, then we need to throw one exception, and this is the custom exception, invalid employee age exceptions, where you can pass the employee ID. So the first time I have taken employee ID as a 1, and then age also, right? So basically this is the parameters, and then internally this invalid employee age exception inheriting from employee exceptions, right? And then in that employee exception we have the messages. In the same way we have the salary check also, like if the salary is less than 5,000, then we can throw invalid salary exception, and in the same way we can pass the employee ID and then salary so that we can print the message. So here I have created one employee instance, and I have assigned values like ID, name, age and salary, right? And then and then we are storing this employee object in the array. So here I have created one employee array in the above, and basically the size of the employee array is 100. So in this employees variable we are storing the employee, and then also at the same time we are returning it, right? So that after storing it we can return at least one employee when we add the employee in this method. And this one get all, basically it returns all the employees here, right? Now in the main method we need to create an object of employee service, and through this employee service we can add the employee, right? Like John 16 and 3000, and we know like if the age is less than 18 or maybe the salary is less than 5, then internally some exception should be thrown, right? And we know like it is throwing, right? So we need to catch all those exceptions in a proper way. That's why we need to write try block where we think like the exception will occur the statements in the statements, and then we need to catch those exceptions. So that's why we have the catch block here. And now you can see we have 3 different catch blocks here. One is the invalid employee age exception, where we get that exception and then we can print in the console. Also we have the invalid salary exceptions catch block, and then this one is the exception block, right? So these are all specific exceptions, like invalid employee age exception or invalid salary exception. These are all specific exceptions. So all those specific exceptions must come before the generic exceptions, right? So this exception is the generic exception, so this should be in the last. And then we have the finally block also, like execution completed. So let's say if it throws the exception, then it will catch in one of the catch block, and then it will this final block will also run, right? So let's run it and see the result. So I'm putting one breakpoint here in the main method, and let's see how it goes one by one. Yes, so let's run it. Okay, now it hit, and then it creates one service employee service instance, and then when I press F11, then it goes inside this add employee, and we have this data, and it checks whether the age is less than 18. It gives you true, and if it is true, then it throws the exception. So let me put one more breakpoint here inside this, maybe, yeah. So when I press F10, let's say, then you can see the exception occurred, right? So here you can see employee age 16 must be 18 plus. Now from where this message is coming, it is coming the extreme base class, that is the employee here, employee exceptions, and we are passing the value, right? And then it is from the exception one. So basically this is the message, and now you can see exception occurred here. And then if you press F10, then again you can print that messages, and also in this way you can do it, right? And then see, now finally block gets executed. So if you press F5, then you can see the result. So here age error, like this one, age error, employee age must be 18 plus. So this is the message, and then we have employee ID 1, invalid age 60, right? So this is the implementation and how to achieve the custom exception in application, right? Yes, I hope you understood this concept, like how to create exceptions, how to create custom exceptions, and how to handle it, how to throw it, and what is the use of the catch blocks, where to write the specific exceptions and the generic exceptions, how to write the final block and how it works. So all these concepts we have discussed in these 2 sessions. So yeah, that's it for today, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.